Good evening and Shavua Tov. I hope everybody had an enjoyable Shabbat and weekend so far. In a couple of weeks, we will be celebrating the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, and I think I speak for everybody when I say that we're ready to start a new year. Tichle Shana v'kiluloteha, techel Shana birchoteha. We want to put this year behind us and all of the things that have happened over the last couple of months and start a new year, start fresh, start a new beginning. And so our class tonight is titled Rosh Hashanah 5781, and so it begins. It's interesting to note, though, that the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, according to the Torah, doesn't really exist. There is no such holiday called Rosh Hashanah. It's called Yom Teruah, it's called Yom Zikaron. As we see in the first two sources, Pasuk and Sefer Vayikra, Perek Kaf Gimel, Daber b'nei Yisrael lemor, b'chodesh hashemi'i be'echad ha'chodesh, shehiyeh lachem Shabbaton, Zichron Teruah mikra kodesh. Tell the Jewish people on the 7th month, on the first day of the month, Aleph of Tishri, Yelachem Shabbaton. It should be a holiday. Zichron Tiruah Mikra Kodesh, a remembrance when you're going to blow the shofar. And in B'midbar, the same thing. U'b'chodesh hashemi'i be'echad ha'chodesh Mikra Kodesh Yelachem. Kol melechad avodah lo ta'asu. You should not do any work. Yom Tiruah Yehi Yelachem. So again, in the Torah, it's called Yom Teruah, Yom Zikaron. At no point do we have a holiday called Rosh Hashanah that was a name given to it by the Chachamim. And so the question I begin with tonight is, why did the rabbis give a name to a holiday that already has a name as per Borei Olam? God gave it a name, Yom Teruah. Why did the Chachamim see it fit to give it a new name, the popular name, the traditional name that we call it, Rosh Hashanah? And I think the answer to that begins with the famous Gemara in Masechet Baba Metziah in source number 3. The Gemara talks about an interesting conversation that happens between Rabbi Hanina and Rabbi Hiya. Says the Gemara, Ki havu minsu Rabbi Hanina v'Rabbi Hiya. When Rabbi Hanina and Rabbi Hiya would fight, they would debate. Amar le Rabbi Hanina Rabbi Hiya. Rabbi Hanina would say to Rabbi Hiya, Bahadeh dideh kaminsit. You're fighting with me? Has v'shalom iyata mishtakcha Torah Misrael mahadar nala mepilpuli. Has v'shalom. If Torah would be forgotten from the Jewish people, I would be able to restore all of it with my analysis, with my ability to dive deep and teach it all again from the beginning. And you're going to argue with me? Amar Rabbi Haya, Rabbi Hanina, Rabbi Haya answers back and it says, Bahadeh dideh kaminsit. You're fighting with me? I teach Torah in a way to the Jewish people that it's not forgotten in the first place. So it's very nice that you want to restore it after it's been forgotten, but the way I teach it, it's not forgotten in the first place. Maya avidna, what do I do to ensure that it's not forgotten in the first place? Azlina v'shadina kitna v'gadilna nishbe v'tzayadna tave u'ma'achilna bisraihu liyatmeh. I plant seeds in the ground and I make traps, net traps with those seeds, with the flax that comes from those seeds, and with it I trap deer. I kill the deer, I feed its meat to Yitomim, to orphans. Va'arichna bigilta, and then I use the skin of the deer to write Sifrei Torah. V'chatavna hamisha humsheh, and I write 5 Sifrei Torah from each deer. V'salikna lemata umakrina hamisha yinuke b'hamisha chumshen. I give it out to each city, 5 different children. Each child gets his own scroll. Umatnina shita yinuke shita sidre. And I write 6 mishnayot, 6 scrolls of mishnayot, and I give it to 6 different children. Va'amana lehu ad hadarna va'atina. Ikru ahadadeh ve'atnu ahadadeh ve'avdelah l'torah delo tishtachach Misrael. And if I'm not there to teach it to them, then I tell them, read with each other, teach with each other, speak with each other, debate with each other, and I raise them with a background of Torah so that it's never forgotten. The Maharsha on this Gemara writes that because Rabbi Hiya gets Torah off the ground with a beginning that is strong, right? Essentially, what is he saying? I plant the seeds and I grow the flax and I trap the deer and I write the seeds. the beginning of my teaching has intentions that the end should be fruitful. And because I'm steeped in a strong beginning that's sure and that's confident, the Torah lasts and it's not forgotten. So it's very nice that you can restore it after it's forgotten, but I get it off the ground in a way that it has a strong foundation so that it's not forgotten to begin with. And that essentially is the answer to this question. The rabbis recreated or renamed the holiday Rosh Hashanah to highlight the essence of the day, and that is, it's a new beginning. It's an opportunity to start again, because we all make New Year's resolutions at the beginning of the year. We're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to grow, and we're going to change, and we're going to lose weight, and we're going to learn more, and we're going to minyan, and we're going to be better spouses. And 6 weeks, 2 months in, we've long forgotten it. And often it's because the beginning is not a strong beginning. The Chachamim, renaming the holiday Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the year, are highlighting the title, the concept of Rosh. It's the beginning. It's an opportunity to start again, but the beginning has to be strong. And we actually see it in this week's parasha, or this past week's parasha. We just read Parashat Ki Tavo, and the parasha opens, V'haya ki tavo el haaretz. When you come to Eretz Yisrael, Asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha nachala, and God will give you your inheritance of the land. V'rishta v'yashavta ba, and you'll inherit it, and you'll inhabit the land. V'lakachta mereshit kol pri ha'adama asher tavi ma'artzecha asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach v'samta batene v'alachta el hamakom asher yivchar Adonai Elohecha v'shaken shemo sham. And you'll take from the first fruits that you grow as an agricultural society, from the first fruits that you grow, and you will put them in a basket, and you'll take them down to the Beit HaMikdash, and there's a verbiage that you're supposed to say, celebrating the first fruits. It's interesting that the command is to bring the first fruits. I would think in celebrating agricultural success and thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I would bring the best fruits. Not the first fruits are not necessarily the best ones. I would think I would take the best ones. In fact, if I go back to the very beginning, Parashat Bereshit, Cain and Hevel, HaKadosh Baruch Hu turns to the Korban of Hevel because he brings from the best of his sheep. So here as well, I would think that he's supposed to bring the best. And in fact, the Mifarshim are torn on it. If you look at the Chizkuni in source number 5 as an example, he says, Mereshit min he'alui kemo reshit tevuato, reshit shemani mimshachu, shulashon shevach ve'ilui. Reshit can come from the term the best, right? The top, the best of them. Davar acher, that's a typo. Davar acher, mereshit me'otam shemitbashelim rishona levi she'en chavivim. The first ones that are ripe, that there's something to it. So the Chizkuni himself, as well as many other Mifashim, are struggling with the definition. It should mean, I would think it would mean, the best. And technically speaking, I can read that into the Pasuk and say that Reshit means the best. But the Pshat, and the way it's explained, is that it's the first fruits. Why the first fruits? Again, because it's the beginning. And there's something to be said about starting something fresh. It's a new start. It's a new beginning. It's a new opportunity. If I approach it the right way and I start strong. Rosh Hashanah celebrates that very concept. And it is highlighted best, I believe, by Harambam in a very interesting halacha in Hilchot Teshuvah. Source number 6 reads, Af al pi shetekiyat shofar berosh Hashanah gezerat hakatuv remez yesh bo kelomar uru yishani mishenatchem v'nidamim hakitzu mitaredematchem v'chapsu v'maasechem v'chizu b'tshuva v'zichru bora'achem. Even though blowing the shofar in Rosh Hashanah is a gezerat hakatuv, it's in the Torah. There's a remez in it. There's a hint for it in another pasuk that says that we have to be awakened. We have to be woken up to think about all of the things that just happened for the last 364 days. Namely, Elu hashokchim et ha'emet, those people that have strayed, that have forgotten about the truth, behavle hazman, that got caught up in the whims of the time, V'shogim kol shenatam behevel varik. They're spending their time doing things that are not fruitful, that are not content-filled, that are not appropriate. Asher lo yo'elu v'lo yatzil. It's not doing anything for them. Habitu lenafshotechem. Look, self-reflect, do some introspection. V'hetivu darkechem u'ma'alelechem v'ya'azov kol echad mikem darko hara'a machshavato. And think about and figure out what are the things that you're doing that are wrong, and make the decision to change. Asher lo tova. Move away from the things that are not working, that you know are not good for you. Lefichach, and to that end, Sarich kol adam, his famous words. Sheyireh atzmo kol hashana kula ki'ilu chetzio zakai v'chetzio chayav. Every person has to see himself that he's a benoni, he's 50-50. I have 50% sins and 50% zichuyot, and I'm hanging in the balance. The whole world hangs 50-50. Chata chet echad hareh hechriya et atzmo ve'et kol ha'olam kulo lekaf chova v'garam lo hashchata. Asa mitzvah achat hareh hechriya et atzmo ve'et kol ha'olam kulo lekaf zichut v'garam lo v'lehem tishra v'atzalah. You have to think about the fact that if I do one mitzvah, and I'm 50% and the world is 50%, I can essentially pull the entire world over to the zichuyot section and do one thing and move us all in the positive direction. And on the converse, if I do one averah, I could pull myself and the entire world in the other direction. First of all, as a side point, he highlights the chashivut of one person. We all think, who am I? What difference, what change can I make? Every person can make a difference if I'm looking at it that way. Continuing on the digression, Harambam here is highlighting a mentality. Harambam, philosopher that he was, is not boiling down our philosophical system to check marks and X's. I do one mitzvah, I do one avirah. It's an approach. If a person looks at life with the attitude that I want to do more, that I can do more, that I'm capable of more, then he's bound to find himself on that path. But if a person looks at himself as, who am I? What difference do I make? I can't do any better. This is the best I can do. He's bound to find himself on that path. It's a mentality. Rosh Hashanah is an opportunity to refocus our mentality and think about the effect that we have, the changes we can make, and how chashuv we are as people and how we can change. But he says, and this is the key point, because of this, Nahagu kol bet Yisrael leharbot b'tzedakah u'ma'asim tovim v'la'asok b'mitzvot merosh Hashanah v'ad Yom HaKippurim yeter mikol Hashanah. Because of this, it is customary that during the time of between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and leading up to Rosh Hashanah, we give more tzedakah and we are very careful to do the right thing and to do extra mitzvot. We get up early in the morning or at night to do selichot, and we pray extra. And there's a halacha that says that if a person is not makpid with Pat Yisrael, he should be makpid with Pat Yisrael and with Bet Yosef meat. He should take upon himself all of these chumrot. It's hypocrisy. I know I'm not doing those things. So all of a sudden, so the cop is there, so I'm going to slow down. But otherwise, when the cop is not there, once Yom Kippur is over, I'm going to start speeding again. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching extra these 10 days. So I'm going to be a good boy. But the rest of the year, I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing. Is Harambam here saying we should be hypocritical? I should pretend for 10 days and then go back to normal? No, I think Harambam here is saying that the actions that we do at the beginning can start the year, can propel the year in that direction. Everything is going to be based on how I begin. It's not hypocrisy. Harambam is saying you're getting a fresh start. Start strong. Go the extra mile. And if you take on an extra 5 things at the beginning of the year, okay, so maybe you'll come back down and you'll end up doing 2 extra things or 2 things better. But I'm not telling you to be hypocritical. I'm telling you to start the year with the mentality that I can do more, I can do better, and practice them. Give more tzedakah during this time. Do more mitzvot during this time. Take on things that you always wanted to do during this time. Start the year on that foot. And as you wane over the next 6 weeks or 2 months, perhaps again you'll end up taking on 2 or 3 more of those 5 things. It's a mentality. It's an opportunity It's a new beginning. It's Rosh Hashanah. It's the beginning of the year. And we have to see ourselves in the light of, I can do more. I just have to be focused and I have to be goal-oriented. I have to understand what I want and I have to hit the ground running. That's the most important thing. If I can start strong, then I can end strong. And that essentially are the words of Tosafot in the Gemara and Hagigah, Daf Tedvav. Amar lo Rabbi Akiva Rabcha lo kach darash. He's quoting something that Rabbi Akiva said. Ela tov harit davar shehu tov mereshito. All ends well that starts well. If we begin on the right foot, if we have the right attitude, if we see the opportunity to have a fresh start and we jump in that way, then we in fact can change the way things go. It's been a difficult couple of months, and I think we all want to shake off what has happened and return to normal as much as possible. And now is that opportunity. Yes, mideoraita, the holiday is called Yom Tiruah, Yom Zikaron, and we blow the shofar, and that's iconic of the holiday. Came along the Chachamim and said, this holiday is going to be called the Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the year, because we want people to understand that they have to give themselves a break. It's a new start. It's a new beginning. There are new opportunities. Start strong. Think about the things that are real. Think about the things that are feasible. Think about the things that you want to do. Narrow them down to 3 or 4. And if you end up with 1, then you won't be the same person you are today, the 364 days from now. And with that, I wish everybody Hatzlacha, Tizkula Sharem Rabon, Ne'imot B'tovot. May the next year be one of beracha, of health, of bisorot tovot, of good things, and may we share many, many simachot together. Amen.